People, what's good, what's good? How's everyone doing? Hopefully you guys are all doing well. Don't forget, hit that subscribe button. If you guys are new to the channel, don't forget as well to like and share the vids. All right, let's do this. A lot of you actually have been in touch saying, Ade, are you still doing the weight cut? Of course, I'm still doing the weight cut. The plan is to start on the 1st of July, and 8 weeks after that date, your boy's going to weigh in at 175 pounds. That's the plan. A weight that I've not made since I was a young pup, since I was about 20. Your boy's clearly not a young pup anymore. So yeah, looking forward to it. Kind of, not really. But I do want to test myself and see what it's like to cut that much weight. The biggest problem at the moment, or one of the biggest problems, is, and we'll get it sorted because I am determined to get it sorted, but a cameraman that will kind of follow me around 4 or 5 days a week. That's the biggest problem. So look, if any of you guys watching this, if that's your skill and you want to get involved, hit me up, man. But yeah, looking forward to it. Going to gyms, going to speak to boxers, former boxers, trainers, doctors, the whole lot. Looking forward to seeing what kind of content we can create. All right, let's see what there is to talk about today. Gary Russell Jr. on Shakur Stevenson, he can get it. Next, Crawford says Spence size doesn't matter. I've been smallest but strongest my entire life. Yeah, I mean, Crawford's very strong. There's a lot of footage out there of Crawford wrestling. I don't know if he wrestled in high school, but he seems to be pretty good at doing it. Lifting weights, seems very strong. I know again, a lot of people are making a lot about the size. When I saw them face to face, there is size difference. Obviously, look, we all know Errol Spence is a big 147, but I think Crawford's now fully matured into the weight class. If this was a Crawford that had just jumped up after becoming undisputed at 140, okay, fair enough. But Crawford's been at 147 for years. So I'm not having any of that size difference rubbish. Adrian Broner, focused on Regis Prograis. I'm on your ass like back pockets. I wonder if Eddie will look at this and think that it's a big fight in terms of numbers. So not a big fight in terms of it being a big fight, but will this draw a crowd? Will people want to see this? Will this do good numbers for DAZN? I don't know how Adrian Broner's last fight did, but you know one thing, Adrian Broner, if the fight is made, will turn into the best salesman ever. And I feel like there might be a bit of intrigue in it. There'll be a lot of people saying that Adrian Broner is jumping the queue. I mean, this guy's not done anything for years, and all of a sudden he's coming back and he's fighting for a world title. But that's just how it is in boxing. Let's not get carried away and pretend we don't know that. So, we'll see. We'll see how that one plays out. Jermaine Ortiz, see things he can capitalize on with Devin Haney. I don't mind this fight. Honestly, I don't mind it. I mean, if Devin's going to stick at 135 and he can't get any of the big boys, I'm not too against this fight. I would like to see Devin rematch for Silly or go to 140, but look, there are options. If you're thinking that Devin is going to go straight in with a Shakur or Gervonta Davis next, then you've not been watching boxing long enough. Unfortunately, these fights just take long to make, and I don't expect to see that anytime soon. Jared Anderson to face Charles Martin on July 1st. Visa issues knocks out previous opponent. It's actually a decent matchup. The problem is, I mean, I don't know, what are we now? 21st of June. Is Charles even in shape? Or was you just thought, fuck it, you know what, I'm not getting any fights, let me just take the money? Because an in-shape Charles Martin causes Jared some problems. Like, even the best Charles Martin I expect to lose to Jared Anderson, but I think we've seen that this new version of Charles Martin is actually a decent heavyweight. Maybe doesn't crack your top 15, but it'll give problems to anyone between 15 and 30 where he lies as well. So it's just a shame that he's not going to get enough time to get in shape. And even if he goes balls to wall now, what has he got? 10 days. He ain't getting in shape in 10 days for Jared Anderson. No way. David Morrell Jr. slams Benavidez. Mexican monster. He's a fraud. He'll get his shoes taken in Cuba. Okay. That's a great fight. I mentioned it yesterday, and I really want you guys to understand how good a fight this is at 168 pounds. Like, again, I get it. We wanted Benavidez Canelo, or maybe someone else, or maybe you guys don't know too much about Morrell. He is a great fighter. He really is. Like, has everything. Looks good as well doing it. this is a test for Benavidez. This is no walkover. I actually think this could be a harder test than Caleb Plant. So I'm really looking forward to this one. Hopefully it gets the push it deserves. It's not going to do great numbers, but hopefully it gets a little bit of a push because this is a good fight. It's a good fight. It's another good fight in what has been so far a good year. Hopefully we get to see that one. No injuries, please. Eddie Hearn unable to reach deal with Dillian Whyte, exploring August options for Anthony Joshua. All right, let's talk about this. There's been reports in the last 24 hours, maybe less than that actually, 12 hours. I think I saw it late last night that I think Sky Sports were the first to report it, that Jarrell Miller is being considered. I remember AJ was supposed to fight Jarrell Miller in Madison Square Garden. Jarrell Miller popped for everything, and in the end AJ fought Andy Ruiz, and we all know how that played out. Since that, Jarrell Miller has been banned for 2 years. He served his ban. He's had 3 fights, and he's looked okay. He's looked nothing special. He's still an unbeaten fighter. If this was AJ versus Jarrell Miller prior to the ban, when Jarrell Miller was just doing silly things, like, I mean, his punch output was just ridiculous. It wasn't ridiculous. I even think he was the first person, I stand to be corrected here, but I think he was the first person to knock out Maris Vac. And Maris Vac's got a chin, or had a chin. I know Povetkin stopped him, but I think that was an injury to Maris Vac, whereas Jarrell Miller, I think, stopped him in the 9th or 10th round, if my memory serves me right. But I don't know if that Jarrell Miller exists. In saying that, does the AJ that was going to fight Jarrell Miller then exist? So maybe there could be an argument that both are like that. This would be controversial. It would be. I think I'm sure Eddie mentioned the fact that he wouldn't work with Jarrell Miller again. I'm sure he did. I'll have to find the clip. So this would be a controversial move. But that aside, this fight would generate a lot of interest. It would generate a lot of interest just because, again, they were going to fight before. Just because people think AJ slipped. Just because we don't know where Jarrell Miller is. So it has its negatives and positives. I will say this. I spoke to a couple of bigwigs yesterday, people in the know. AJ is desperate to fight August 12th, or at least in August. He 110% does not want to sit it out until the end of the year and this proposed rumored Wilder fight. He is desperate to fight in August, and it looks like he can't come to an agreement financially with Dillian Whyte. So what are the options? What are the options that move the needle? Remember, it isn't just a case of him taking a fight against someone, not for age anyway, someone that good, that doesn't really do the numbers for DAZN, doesn't put bums on seats. I think we know now that AJ needs a dance partner. Jarrell Miller would do all those things. Jarrell Miller versus AJ would do the numbers, bums on seats. The interest would be through the roof. And I think a lot of people would think that Jarrell Miller might cause the upset. I don't. I personally don't, just because, again, I know that Jarrell Miller that AJ was going to fight was full of everything. I mean, this guy popped for every drug available that you can help with your performance. He's clearly off all that gear now, and he doesn't look as good. Still decent, but nowhere near as good as the guy that was coming through. Although you look at his record, even coming through, his biggest win. What's his biggest win? Bogdan Dinu? Adamek? Vac? There's no marquee wins on there, but he's not had the opportunity. But look, this is a big opportunity for him. This all could be smoke and mirrors. And what I mean, this all could be a case of, look, all right, Dillian, you don't want it? Fine, we'll go somewhere else. We don't need you. So that Dillian then just says, okay, fuck it, I'll sign. It could be a bit of that. You get it with football, where a club makes an offer for a player and it's rejected, and then rumours come out that another team wants that player. So it's almost just a case of, you better sign him quickly before the other team does. And I feel like that might be a bit of what's at play here, where are they really exploring Jarrell Miller, or are they just trying to say to Dillian Whyte, if you don't accept this offer now, we're done. It's going to be very interesting to see your reaction to this fight being announced, just because, again, of Jarrell Miller's failed drug test. Are you okay with it just because he has served his ban, or are you very, drug cheats like that shouldn't get an opportunity to make money in the sport, and he will be making millions? Do you know what I mean? So yes, he served his ban, but he's going to come back and he's going to walk straight into the lottery. Is that fair? I don't know. But again, it'd be very interesting to get your take on it. But yeah, that's what we're hearing. Like Jarrell Miller is one of the options. And of all the options, like you think of all the options out there for AJ, Hrgovic, Jarrell Miller does bigger numbers. Bacoli, Jarrell Miller does bigger numbers. I would even say Jarrell Miller might do bigger numbers because of the controversy around him than Dillian White. I believe so. Could be wrong, but I think he would. And they would play back that 2018? Was it that long ago? They'll play all that back. I don't know, man. Again, I'm going to look in the comment section. It'll be very interesting to kind of get your thoughts on it. All right, here we are. What else? Edgar Berlanga, Jason Quigley this weekend live on DAZN. Not sure about Berlanga. I think he'll beat Quigley, but I'm not sure about him. There was a lot of hype around him. I think his first 15 fights, all of them knocked out in the first round or something ridiculous like that. If he was a British fighter or if he was from Britain, I would say that Berlanga's European level. So when I say I'm not sure about him, I'm not saying he's not a good boxer. I think he's European level. And I think some people have already sort of put him in the category of world level. And not for me at all. But it'd be interesting to see how he looks against Quigley. Look at Berlanga's record again. I know there was a fight where I thought he lost and it's just skipped my mind, the fight. What fight was it again? Was it Esteban? Was it that one? Yeah, it might have been. But yeah, so he had his first, how many fights? 1, 2, 3. I think he had his first 17 fights or 16 fights, all knockouts. And then he got pushed by Nicholson. Look at the scorecard, you can see. Well, actually, not Nicholson. He destroyed Nicholson. But it's this Caceres one. That's the one I remember. Is that the one where he went down? He went down in round 9. That's the one where he struggled. And then Steve Rolls, who's, way past it. And Alexis Angulo was quite comfortable. We'll see. Look, we'll see. I'm going to sort of hold on my judgment of him until after this fight. But he's far away from, like, the very elite in the division. Far away. What's this one? Tevin Farmer versus Avery Sparrow. When are they fighting? Doesn't even say the date. God, Tevin Farmer, man. Remember when it was like, it's funny because it was all about Tevin Farmer versus Gervonta Davis. Do you remember that? Like they were meeting in fucking malls and going at each other and their crews were going at each other. That was the fight that was going to happen. And then Tevin Farmer lost to, was it Jojo Diaz? My brain is all over the place. I'm sure it was. And he's almost just been forgotten. Only 32, Tevin Farmer. But he's almost just been forgotten. Who did he lose to? Yeah, Joseph Diaz. And since then, it's just nothing. This is his first fight. I didn't even know that. This is his first fight back since then. And that fight is on the 24th of June. This is his first fight since Diaz, which was 30th of January 2020. Bruh. Sort it out, man. That's bad. All right, anything else? I think that is it. Let's see if there's anything on Mr. Benson's Twitter page that we can have a little chinwag about. Oh, something here about Dmitry Bivol. What was this? I just saw something about Dmitry Bivol. Eddie. Oh, come on. What is it? Eddie Hearn has stated that he wants Dmitry Bivol to defend his WBA light heavyweight world title versus Dan Aziz or Anthony Yarde next. He said he plans to speak to George Warren about Yarde and will also approach Aziz if he is a free agent. Come on, man. I mean, I like Dan Aziz, but Bivol versus Dan Aziz, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not sure. The Yarde one is very interesting, and it makes me believe there's already been a conversation with Tunde, because I saw Tunde at the Haringey Box Cup, and I was like, when is Yarde coming out? And he gave me that look like there's something on the horizon where Yarde might have one now, like close against a gimme, and then fight Bivol. I think it's a tragedy or a travesty what's happening with Dmitry Bivol. Fighter of the year last year, fighter of the year, 2 amazing wins, Canelo and Gilberto Ramirez, and here we are coming up to July, and this guy hasn't fought. That sums up boxing for you. Coming up to July, and he hasn't fought. Crazy. Peace.